Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at yarnspirations.com. Today is the Bernat Red Crochet Blanket. What color is it? Red. What is it? A blanket. It's the Red Crochet Blanket. So without further ado, let's just quickly talk about this pattern. This is almost beginner level and I will show you how to do this, and therefore if you are a beginner you probably can move on, and for those that are experienced this is a great project. Just put it into the wind, turn on the TV and relax. So here's the project here, and it's using a 6mm size J crochet hook, and the blanket is 46 by 48 inches. Using Bernat Super Value as your color choice. Needs 4 balls. It happens to be the color red. You can change colors at any time that you wish. So this is a repeating rows of 1 and 2 as we continue this pattern. So if you are a beginner level you probably can master this, and in order to make this work it's actually really quite fun and easy. So without further ado, let's just break down this pattern a little bit more and let's get ourselves started, and grab your hook now and let's begin. So let's begin our foundation row. So we're just gonna start off with the chain. If you'd like to change the size of this blanket, it's multiples of 3 plus 2. But the blanket does say that it's chaining 120. So you can either chain 128 or just change the size and doing multiples of 3 plus 2. If you are doing the multiples then you just go 1, 2, 3, big enough, yes or no. If not, keep adding more. 1, 2, 3, big enough, yes or no. 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. Once you're satisfied with the length of that, just add 2 more and you'll be back in balance for this particular project. Let's begin and foundation row. So you're just gonna go second chain from the hook. So 1 and 2, turn it around and get the back hump of the chain and just single crochet yourself all the way across this chain. And I will see you at the end of your chain in just a moment. So just put me on pause now. So let's begin row number 1, and we're going to continue and chain 3, and that will count as your first double crochet, and in the same stitch, okay, you want to apply then another double crochet. So there's technically 2 in the very first one. There's not a chain 1 that separates them though, so just make sure you keep an eye on that. Skipping the next 2, you're gonna go to the third one and apply a V-stitch. So it's essentially a double crochet, chain 1 and a double crochet. That's called the V-stitch. It's not called that in this pattern, but that's exactly what it is. So you're gonna skip the next 2 stitches and go to the third, and you're gonna apply a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and that's all you're doing across this thing. So 1, 2, skip, go to the third, double, chain 1 and double, and then as you're making your way to the other side of your whole project, the party has to come to an end. And what we need to do, and in the very final, we're gonna skip the final 2 and go to the third, which is the last one, and you're going to apply 2 double crochets. And if you think about it, that's what makes sense, because you started off with 2 double crochets in the very beginning like this. So let's turn our work and begin row number 2. So row number 2 is about just adding single crochets to what is already there. Okay, so it's got a lot of words, but truly it's very easy. So you're just gonna chain up 1 and you're just gonna apply a single crochet. It says do in the first 3. So 1, 2, 3. Do you see those? And then that's a chain 1 space. So you're gonna add a single crochet to those chain 1 spaces. So just remember each double crochet is gonna get a single, and then each chain 1 space will also get a single a single stitch, a single crochet. So go right into the space itself. Don't bother to go into a chain. That keeps it nice and open, and then continue along in the double crochets until you get to the next space, and then throw it in the next space. So this is keeping the balance of it, and it keeps those stitches open as well. So make sure that you're not putting it in the space in there. It has to be in between the V stitches. I almost did that, so figured if I'm gonna do it, you'll probably do it too. And then eventually the party will then come to an end once you hit the other side. So the last 3 will be each a single crochet. Don't forget that turning chain 3 is a stitch. Go right in top of the chain section. Don't go into a space, but go right into the chain section to keep it nice and stable. So that was row number 2. So now you just got to repeat rows 1 and 2 over and over and over. So let's go back and do row number 1 again. So you're gonna chain 3, which will count as a double crochet, and in the same stitch you're going to apply a double crochet. Like before, skipping the next 2, do a V-stitch. So a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and you'll do that all the way across. So skipping the next 2, and the way that this is designed, those V stitches will line up on top of each other. So you see how they're lined up in the row below? Nice and simple. So eventually you'll train your eyes that you can just see where to dive in the stitches because everything lines up. But eventually this party will then come to an end again, and you will have to turn your work and begin the next row. So in the last V stitch you skip the next 2 and then apply 2 double crochet in the final. That keeps the edge nice and solid. So then you turn your work and do row number 2, which you already know. So chain up 1, and it's 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets, and chain 1 spaces going all the way across. So there is no border on this thing. So once you're done, you're done. So just maintain the pattern. You will finish off with using this row, row number 2, so that it keeps the V stitch nice and solid, and it looks identical to the way that it started. So you have a nice solid line here. This is a solid line, so just be paying attention to that at the end. So that's how you're gonna finish this particular project, just weaving your ends. Remember, there's slower tutorials for beginners available on our channel if you would like to access those. Nice simple repeat patterns like this are really quite popular because people don't always want to think and count. They just want to turn on the TV and enjoy. So once you're satisfied with it, just trim your ends and just use a tapestry needle. So let me show you how to do that real quick, just in case you're new. So what you'll do is to just pull this loop through, and you will take this strand and take a tapestry needle. When you're learning, things take longer than normal, but just be patient with your skills and just weave it up underneath the stitches. So don't weave on the outside. So just underneath the stitches and go once, and when you pull it, don't change the shape. So pull it taut, but don't pull it tight like you're tying something to it, and then go back a second time, and then finally just diving back in a third time. The project can never stretch in 3 directions at the same time, and once you have that done, you can just trim it right to the project, and that should never fall out on you. And you'll also want to do the same with these. So when you're switching out your colors, or sorry, when you're changing your yarn balls, because there's 4 yarn balls, you'll do the same technique then to do that. And this is really quite fun, and there's tutorials on how to change colors and all that on our channel too. Till next time, it's Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd. It's with my friends over at yarnspirations.com. See you again next time. Bye bye.